Welcome to Look on the Flip Side, a podcast where we get to take a behind-the-scenes look at stand-up comics, actors, writers, improvisers, and musical improvisers. From Flipside Theater in Superior, Colorado, I'm your host, Jenny Remack. Now let's go look on the flip side. Hi, everyone. We have a very special guest in the studio today. She's Colorado-based stand-up and improv comedian. She's been doing stand-up since 2024, but improv since high school. And she received her degree in theater at St. Olaf College in Minnesota. She currently plays on Breakfast Mafia, Improv Boulder's House Team, Trust Fall Incident, and the Shakespearean improv duo, Mortal Fools. Please help me welcome to the stage improviser and stand-up comedian, Jenna McKellips.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Did I get it right?
You did.
McKellips.
You got my name absolutely right. You did amazing.
We really prepped before this because we wanted to make sure I got it right. And you said like something that was really helpful, like Kellogg's?
Yes, like Kellogg's, the breakfast cereal.
Yeah, so if you ever want to say Jenna's name, McKellips, like Kellogg.
And I often go by Jenna McKay in the theater community. So if you hear that, they're not misstating my name. I'm just like, it's fine. Call me Jenna McKay.
So she's Jenna McKay. Cool.
Pew, pew.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's super great to have you. And I know you started like theater and or improv in high school, but like what really turned you on to comedy?
Yeah, so I've moved around a lot in my life, and my number one task whenever I go to a new city is find a theater community, because that's where your friends are going to be and that's where your community is going to be. And I moved to Colorado after being in Europe for a little while, and I saw in Boss Lady Pizza this little advertisement for Christy Buckley's class that's Stand Up 101, and I've always wanted to try stand up. So I went to that class, absolutely loved it, got the bug, and then someone asked me to be on an improv team, which I hadn't been on in a little while because of some issues I'd been having with anxiety, but the community here is so wonderful, and my anxiety is much better treated now, so it was such a blast, and there's no stopping it now. It's my whole life.
There you go. She's taking off, guys. She's just getting started. I think that's so cool. I want to touch on a few things. So, Boss Lady Pizza, shout out to you all. That's awesome.
Heck
pizza.
yeah, Boss Lady.
And seeing the flyer for Christy Buckley's class, and then knowing that because you moved around a lot, you were like, I want to find community. I want to find theater because that's where like the cool kids are,
Yeah.
and being able to just find friends and connection, which is so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, theater kids are all nerds, and nerds are the best friends, and I believe in that.
I agree. That's so cool. You talked about anxiety too. Like you had some things with anxiety, and I know you've been very vulnerable in your stand-up with some of the things you've gone through. What would you say, like some of the ways that improv or stand-up has helped you with some of your anxiety or some of your mental health stuff?
Yeah, it helps a lot, actually. I think that, I think really good comedy comes when you see a breakdown of ego, where you have these expectations of ego about someone and they willingly break it. And I think self-deprecating humor can go too far, and then we feel like stressed for the person. Totally. But my favorite comedians, Maria Bamford, Taylor Tomlinson, they're these beautiful, powerful women who are like, whoops, I am very mentally ill and life is hard. Yeah. And I feel like if you take shame and you kind of break it down and you let yourself be vulnerable, it's very funny. And comedy has allowed me to be proud of things. I mean, I have 2 mental illnesses. I'm bipolar and OCD, and they both have tried to kill me, and I've lived, so I should feel no shame. And instead, this allows me to also not be embarrassed because I can pick something up. For example, I have this joke about my partner coming home to me boiling my shoes. Oh, yeah. And I was embarrassed to tell that story for a while, but when you think about the image, it's objectively hilarious. Yes. And it tells a beautiful story of my relationship. So I think comedy allows you to shatter your ego.
Totally. I want to go into that a little deeper too, because I think there is this thing about ego, you know, we have it, it's there to kind of keep us safe, but it also can really ruin the party.
Yeah, you know, absolutely.
That we're going to. And so you've been able to shatter it in a way to where it's been available to you to be vulnerable on stage, to let people know, hey, this is what I have, and it tried to take me down, and I'm still here. The bipolar, the OCD, I'm still here. Yeah, you know, which is amazing. And the connection that you have with your partner and being able to, you know, speak about that on stage, especially illustrated with like shoes boiling in water. Yeah, I mean, it's so great. Like the way you've taken you've taken that and really given us a gift of laughter.
Yeah, and I think really good comedy is always a gift, and it should be generous and community building. And I think the thing about making ourselves vulnerable, it can feel like it's all about us. But what you're really doing is saying, hey, if you've experienced something like this, me too. And it's all right, and we can laugh about it. Totally. And so I think like Maria Bamford has a skit about her anti-slip socks coming out of the psych ward that's so funny. And anyone who's ever experienced that is like, I'm not weird, Maria Bamford's awesome. I too can be awesome.
Yeah, that's right. I love my slip socks. Yeah, totally. And Maria Bamford is so great, and I love that you brought her up too, because she has been very vulnerable as well, like with all of her mental health and going into the psych ward, and you know, somebody being like, oh, you are a comedian? Really? You're a comedian?
You're a comedian?
You know, like checking it out.
Exactly.
And so, you know, being able to just kind of allow yourself to have that that exposure, because you said it sounds like it's about you, but it's not. It's this vulnerable piece that allows inclusivity, allows others to be like, yes, me too, or yes, I have things that are similar going on, and it gives that like opportunity for connection.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, if comedy is just about you, then it isn't funny. Like if no one has anything they can relate to, you're writing really bad jokes.
Right.
Like
that's a good point.
People laugh with you because they're like, oh, I feel that. Even if they don't have the same experience, we all have foibles and struggles, and that can be funny. That sounds dark, but it helps you get through it if it's funny. Yeah.
Totally, you're right, because I think the best comedy that I've experienced is when I feel it and I'm like, oof, yes, I could, you know, or emotionally like just connect with that person based on, you know, what they've experienced. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, thank you. You also write good comedy, and we've talked about this before, so I think you do that as well.
Okay, so walk us through your process of actually like writing new material. Like, how does it come to you? Like the boiling shoes, or like any of the stuff that you have?
Yeah. The answer to that question is kind of in two parts. Okay. One part is like the practical, physical, and then practically speaking, writing is work, and it can be really hard work. Yes. And so I set aside time where I literally sit myself down and I'm like, you are going to write for an hour. It could be garbage. It doesn't matter. We're writing for an hour. Yeah. And then I set it aside, let it fester, do surgery on it with some editing. And then I give it to a bunch of my friends to just read, including the wonderful Chrissy Hashek, the wonderful Joe Huisman, the wonderful Annie Remack. And I have some people who give me like kind of first order edits. I have a friend, Pam Moore, who sits down and lets me say it to her, which is so generous of her. Yeah. I do that to my partner with or without his desire for me to do that. And then you do it at open mics until it sounds funny. And then the more conceptual side of that, I think I talked to you about this more one-on-one when we were talking about where you get material. But I kind of look in my life and I see like what feels like a bruise right now. What's hurting like a little bit, and is it hurting because of my ego around it? And am I embarrassed of it? And if I'm embarrassed of it, is it actually funny?
Yeah, right.
Is it actually hilarious? Yeah. Or is it like something actually bad? In which case I don't want to bring that on stage. But sometimes it's just my ego and it's actually very funny. And I'm only embarrassed of it because I'm being silly.
Yeah. That's so cool. And that's so visual for me too. Like, is there a bruise? Is there something that is hitting on me that could be ego related?
Yeah.
And is it funny?
Is it actually funny?
I might bring it out.
I might talk about, like, I had, this is in one of my sets as well, but I had this time at work where I called someone because I work in finance to like talk to them about their deceased relation's finances, and it turned out their deceased relation wasn't actually dead, and I had been given the wrong information. And that was like so hard to think about and embarrassing, but so funny.
Yeah. I'm so sorry for your loss. And they're like, oh, they're still here.
Yeah, she was like, she's right next to me. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. So being able to do that. And okay, so you deal with finances in your day-to-day life.
Yes. Yeah.
Sometimes have to call people who are deceased but not really deceased.
Yes, I used to work at a bank, and that was part of my job there.
Yeah.
There are certain things you don't have a social script for, and one of those is when a deceased person isn't actually deceased.
How did you do, like, how did you roll with that?
Well, very embarrassingly, I blue screened, like my brain just turned off, and then in a couple way too many seconds I just went, congratulations. And when I hung up the phone, my boss came over and was like, what were you up to over there?
That's amazing. Congratulations. You're not gone.
I'm so happy your loved one is with you.
Oh, to be a fly on the wall for that. That's great. And that makes for great comedy too. Like, to be able to say, like, hey, this was my experience. This happened. This is actually what happened.
Yeah.
What I said, genuinely in the moment. And so.
Yes. And I think, like, truth is stranger than fiction. And if you just, like, journal your life, you have so much comedy.
Oh my God, that's true.
Yeah.
I could just go back through all my journals and be like, whoa, that's still a little bruisey, but that is good. Yes. Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course. Thank you.
That's cool. Well, how would you say being a stand-up comedian has impacted your life?
I think it's really humbling. I think I've had more people than I expected come up to me after shows and say, like, either they were bipolar or someone in their family was bipolar, and it meant a lot to them to see an accurate depiction of it, or like jokes about it that really resonated and didn't feel like angry or hurtful. And that has been so humbling to be able to impact anyone in this life. Feels extraordinary sometimes. And then it's just so fun. It's such a blast. You meet the absolute coolest people in improv and comedy circles because
that's so true.
They're funny, they're clever, and they don't take themselves too seriously.
That's the thing, right? Yeah. Like, not taking yourself too seriously, because I think that in life, so many people can go through life just like so tense and so like just everything is so serious, or this. So it sounds like it's allowed you to be more expansive, let go of that kind of thing, meet some really cool people. You mentioned like Chrissy and Joe, and just these amazing comics, Pam, and like people that have been able to give you feedback and also make you laugh.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And they share their embarrassing stories, and you never feel alone in a room of comics.
Yes, that's true, right? You're like, oh shit, we've all got laundry.
Yeah.
Here it is.
We've all got laundry, and we're all willing to talk about it.
Right, yeah. Exactly. So that's so cool. So it's really helped you to connect with other comedians. It's helped you to connect with yourself. Not take yourself so seriously.
Yes, absolutely. Which is like one of my ongoing life goals. I feel like every time I take myself seriously, I take the joy and sparkle that could be in life and take it for myself.
Yeah. And well, like what, okay, so why do we do that? Why do we take that joy and sparkle from ourselves? And like what is that about for us?
Yeah, I feel like ego is so promoted in today's society, and maybe that I obviously haven't, this is wild conjecture. I have not done research, but to me it feels like you have to create a brand that is yourself, and you have to sell yourself to get a job in most jobs nowadays.
Yeah.
And we're always on cameras, we're always on our phones, we're always being observed, and so ego and appearance is so important to all of those things. But I think like the real things, the things that mean something to us, are those vulnerable relationships we can have. And ego is just a detriment to that. Like the more you try to look like you have your life together, the fewer people feel like they associate with you.
I totally agree with that, because I feel like I was that way for a very long time. Like this whole like needing to be perfect or perfectionism, like bullshit that I'm not. I have lots of problems. And I think the thing is once we can just air them and be like, hey, this is me, this is like authentically me, the more people just naturally like you and love you because you're being you. You're not like trying to put up this. I had so much armor and so much like just walls of just like, no, everything's fine, I'm great. This like toxic positivity. And I am a generally positive person. Like I have a spectrum of positivity. I just think that there is, like you said, there's this thing that we brand ourselves with, this ego that we go into jobs with. We have to sell ourselves. What I've noticed, though, is when I am just myself and I'm like, my shoulders are down and I'm not worried about like, oh my God, is my chin double or like whatever, like then I'm just like, okay, I'm just being myself.
Yes, absolutely. And I felt it so freeing because in this community, a lot of people were introduced to me first through either being in a comedy class with me or seeing my comedy. And so I feel like I'm starting all these relationships with absolutely no baggage or hidden laundry. It's all out in the open. And I've made these wonderful friendships where people don't have any assumptions of my perfection, and I feel so free.
That's super cool, right? Like, 'cause then you could just be yourself from the gate. Like, you don't have to be like this somebody you're not. Like, kind of coming in and making, making it up, like as we all do in improv, but just like really being you and genuinely like speaking from the heart. Like, that's what I feel like improv has helped me do.
Absolutely.
Is to get out of here and more in here. And like just be connected and in communication, and like eye contact like is so big, right?
Yeah.
And then just like being able to just be like one with someone. It sounds a little like spiritual, hippy dippy, but
I am spiritual.
Are you okay?
And hippy dippy. So
so
right.
So we're good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think improv is like the theater version of ecstatic dance, which is something that I love to do. Ecstatic dance, you just like move how feels good and how like interprets how you're feeling. And improv feels like that. You just like become a character that feels good and enter these relationships for a brief period, and it's so freeing.
It is. Oh my gosh, that's going to be our new like improv is ecstatic dance. It is.
It is.
It's very freeing, and it does makes me feel my emotions more too, which I didn't feel for a very long time. I was raised Catholic. No offense, Catholics, but it's kind of
I was raised
do.
Evangelical. No offense as well, but I understand.
Yeah. You get it.
I get it.
Because it's like, don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Just smile and go along with it.
If you push it down long enough, it'll go away.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, why do I have so much back pain?
Well, I'm 25 and I need to go to the emergency psychiatrist.
Right. Like, what is happening right now? So I think the more we can allow our emotions to come out, improv does that.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And stand-up does that too, because you can get in your emotions when you're speaking about these truths that have happened in your life.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's really helped me to grow in that way and to let the walls down, the armor down, all the things.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that way as well.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's so I recommend it to everyone.
Yeah. I do too. And I think that was going to be another question. Like, what are some words of wisdom that you could give to someone who's like really nervous or like, oh my God, Jenna,
Yeah.
I could not do stand up. That is so scary.
Yeah.
Or improv or, yeah.
That's a great question. I feel like if it feels really bad, it isn't the thing for you. Like there are so many methods of release, and if it actively feels like it's grating on you, like then it's not right for you. Like I took a break from improv because it was just flaring up my anxiety, and so then it wasn't really serving me. It wasn't really serving the people I was there with who were there to have fun and play. But if you are just having a little anxiety and it's a hurdle that you think you can get over, I think it's a worthy place to experiment and getting over your anxiety, because it's a place of radical acceptance. The yes and is radical acceptance in a way. People are going to accept the goofy things you say and pretend it's truth. Yes. And every time you get on stage and fall down, you do a really bad... I've done so many really bad improv shows that were not funny, and so many bad open mics that were not funny. And every time you do that and survive, it builds your resilience. You're like, I can make a fool of myself, and people will still think I'm cool and fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like you're saying, it builds over time. Like, even if you go out and you just flop, you know, and it's just like, whoa, it builds that resilience, it builds that character within ourselves, and it allows us this radical acceptance. I love that you said that. And the yes and, like the opportunity to really yes and to our anxiety. Yes, I am feeling anxiety, and I can still go out and give this a shot. You know, give this a try. That's really great wisdom.
I'm glad.
Thank you. I love that. So some questions. When are you performing next? Stand up and improv?
When is this airing?
God, that's a great question. I think, so we're January. I think this will be out in February for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a couple stand-up shows in January, but we won't talk about those. I think the biggest show coming in February is February 6th. I'm going to be doing the Lafayette show called Lafayette at the End Theater on the 6th. So really recommend folks come to that. Lots of good improvisers do that show pretty regularly. So if you're just interested in improv and you don't know what it looks like, the Lafayette show, as well as all the shows that come here on the flip side, are great places to just dip your toe and see what it looks like and feels like.
Totally. Yes. So February 6th, we'll have it out before then.
Okay.
So we can make sure we can
And if it's out
that.
before the 31st, Mortal Fools is playing here. But
that's right. When is that happening?
Yeah, that's January 31st.
Oh, that's on the 31st.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So potentially.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Anyways,
I mean,
theater
I don't
is
know.
coming.
Yeah, it's coming. It'll be out soon.
And if people want to just see what shows I'm going to be in, my Instagram handle is at Jenna McKay Comedy, which is at JENNAMCK_comedy.
Awesome. Jenna, this has been a real pleasure. It's been so much fun. Thank you for
It's been so
being
much
here.
fun. Thank you.
Is there anything that we didn't cover that you just like want to put out there before we wrap it up?
I think that's about it. Come do a class at the flip side. You may find your second family here.
So true. And we will catch you on the
flip side.
Oh my gosh.
That was fun.
That was fun.